emergency today? Important to debate?
ISIS. How to stop them?
But with me, why do you think it's the emergency? Is it because it's in the media?
No, not because it's in the media. Well, because they just attacked venues in Paris.
Yeah.
And they've always existed, but the level of their hatred towards non-Muslims is very frightening.
But who do you think is dictating? Maybe the media is the one dictating what we should talk about or what we should consider emergency.
Well, I think when more than 100 people are killed, it is an emergency. Unfortunately.
But the emergency, is it the political one? Or is it the humanistic one in that case? I am not quite sure.
Okay. No.
I think it's as much
a humanistic problem.
It's a much political emergency.
Yeah.
Something like this.
Well, no, and I would say the refugee problem is a much bigger problem than ISIS. All the displaced people who are not living a life with a future.
Yeah.
Children who can't go to school.
Do you think these two things are connected?
ISIS and refugees?
Yeah.
Yes.
But how come that we don't talk consider it as an emergency to the daily other days than when it happens as an attack?
I think some people do. I think some people are very aware of the state of the world right now, and an isolated event is just a product of a bad situation.
What do you think about propaganda? I think the emergency is the propaganda.
You mean the events, the newsworthy events?
I think it becomes a kind of fashion.
Yes.
Something is
emotional pornography.
Emotional pornography.
Yes.
Is the emergency of today, I think, because it makes people blind.
Well, it pushes the problem further away,
and it makes it blurry. So people think that they are part of solving something when they in reality are part of fashion.
Or they feel justified in giving up because refugees aren't people, they're numbers. They're millions of people.
But I think the real emergency is that people think that they're doing something to solve the problem.
And they're not really.
By stepping into a fashion wave of reactions and crying together and being sentimental together, I don't think that will help.
No, it won't. And I also, my personal line is, I try very hard whenever I'm asked for money to give real help.
Yeah.
We don't really know.
Hi.
I think today the problem is people, how they follow without asking themselves questions. Yeah, sometimes they blocked.
But I think it's the people that need to feel that they're doing something. So to follow a movement, they feel that they're participating in solving a problem or doing something active.
So, but they do it because they want a war, they like war.
They don't have, the other options are not given to them.
But they are in peace. Why do they create this war atmosphere around them?
They feel that the situation is emergency and they need to act. And the most easy way to act is just to follow the stream. And in that way they will feel strong because they are with other people in a mass. So they feel that really then are collectively creating a statement of impact. It is also a way of connecting their personal stories to what is happening. Many people who have personal experiences with Paris or with the city, they connect to it culturally more than with other places in the world. So they feel that suddenly their small lives are part of some bigger issues. And therefore, but the dangerous thing is that the structure of this emotional wave is not being. It has a mask. It has a mask that we have to take.
But do you think people have become patriotic? Somehow we discover that all these people that suddenly they are interested in the nation, they are interested in the church. You know, they value basically become patriotic. We didn't know that.
It's very dangerous. It's a dangerous part. But people always grab into the religion and politics because, you know, patriotism and religion, because these are the two big things that a small individual can be part of. You know, when something big happens, we want to have an impact together with others, to have a common voice. We would find a kind of ideology that we support or become part of.
But these people that have no ideology, they go suddenly.
Yeah.
They are born as
that's the fashion thing, and that's the interesting thing that somebody everything is fashion that is always created by somebody else, designed.
Yeah.
And it will be turned on, and it will be turned off at some point and changed for another.
But what is the emergency now?
The emergency now, I think, is this wave of fashion that is making people blind towards the real problems happening around them.
But what I found alarming is that if you don't think like them, then they hate you.
It's creating a very dangerous polarization that is a start point for a conflict of a bigger scale.
Yeah. So you think we are going to a war or what?
There are wars going on already, as we know, like concrete wars.
Yeah.
But this is another kind of war.
It will be no refugee if there were no bombing. For me, the problem now today is that people have become patriotic somehow.
Yes.
All these people that I didn't know suddenly, you know, if you have an opinion against them, they will hate you. They fight for a nation. They fight some values they never fight before.
Yes.
So this means the propaganda that has been on has created fanatic.
Yeah.
So all these fanatic might be able to do war.
And so this kind of laid back, sitting in a sofa, talking about the things you read in the news and updating each other on the latest news. I think that can lead us to just be part of the machinery of propaganda. Because everybody's like, oh, the last news, I hear the last news. They get so happy when they hear last news that they can share, they can be the first one. And this, this kind of, wave of sentimental passion, oh, it's so hot, it's so terrible, everybody's crying together. This can be so dangerous because we don't really feel the real thing behind it.
Yeah. I would say today the emergency is whether or not terrorism is going to strike New York again, which everybody here is very nervous about because they think it's only a matter of a month or so. And then they're like, well, fuck, are you going to be in Manhattan? People are like, I'm going to stay in Brooklyn, because nobody wants to hit Brooklyn.
I see.
So this is a real thing. I've been talking to my girlfriend all morning about it because she works next to Times Square and she doesn't want to work there anymore.
It's a paranoia. It's a fear.
Absolutely. So I'd say that's probably the biggest issue going on. From like 8 a.m. to like 2. I had to talk about that.
But don't you think that I would say fear is a big problem. But I would say that fear is also created by the media.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there could be some propaganda.
But then, you stop. And there's some that aren't. So it's not just the media,
And what kind of propaganda do you think is taking place today in the issues of the terrorism?
That's a good question. I mean, what news outlets do you watch?
I have been watching sporadically different news, both from Denmark and the States, but I don't know enough about these structures you just explained, about the different newspapers and so on. So this is why I'm asking, how would you, from New York point of view, say that propaganda is taking place?
Yeah.
Do we see some examples of that? Do we see some examples of that already today? Or?
Look at the difference between Fox News and the New York Times, right? This is really
let's take that,
left and right. And the way they report the news is totally different,
For example?
I'm not saying one is right and the other is wrong.
No, but just understand the difference. What?
Fox News has already calling for us to go to full-on war with ISIS. You know, like, I mean, we're already fucking bombing them. Like, how much more war can you go to? You know, like.
So they will ask you to go to war.
Yeah. And it's like nobody attacked the United States. They killed a bunch of people in Paris. You know. But Fox News is already calling for that.
Why do you think they're interested in that?
It's a good question, right? I don't know. I think because fear, like you mentioned, right? People are very.
But they don't do that of fear. I mean, it's a profession. I mean, the editorial group of people, they are.
Well, no, they sell media by fear. Right?
Okay, so it's money.
Like if there was a story that like everybody's getting along in Paris right now and it's going great, they're not going to sell any clicks, you know?
Okay, so it's clicks. Yeah. Which was the political part line that is behind Fox News?
Is the conservative Republican.
Are they interested in war?
Yes.
Because what? Because they want money on war?
Money and security, right?
How do you mean money and security?
They want to control kind of I would say the oil producing resources of the Middle East.
Okay, but military industry is quite big in the States. Yeah. It's a quite big part of the economy.
It's over 50%.
So that's the power, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And how are the New York Times covering the same?
New York Times is a little more reserved, right? But they are also calling for, I would say, more military action.
So everything is leading to more military action.
Yes, right now, yes.
As the only solution.
I wouldn't say the only solution, but probably the easiest, right?
What do you think you would? What do you think? What do you think could be an alternative solution if we should think around military?
What would be a good alternative solution? I'd say we could pull out of Syria right now. I think that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay, let's go to the front.
Yeah, the moral and humanistic issues, I think they get all mixed together with the political and the economic issues. This is the problem, because we suddenly cannot distinguish what is the political, what is the humanistic act. You know, the true humanistic acts, they become poisoned or intoxicated.
It's the use of emotions.
Exactly.
By the political, they inject some emotion the moment they want. You know, not for Lebanon, but for France. They choose a moment where they bomb us with emotion we have to have, because it's fitting their strategy. But for example,
so everybody's praying and everybody's crying, but it's like on a button that they press. Now everybody has to. It's a kind of choreography that I think it's very dangerous, because somebody is a choreographer behind it. So the motions are good, but suddenly I am afraid.
So how do you actually make your emotions into some actions?
Yes.
It's the problem, because
actions that are good.
But no matter what you do, it's that's the real problem. Is because you cannot do anything. You're paralyzed. Whatever you do, it's going to be classified as this or that. You know, for or against.
No, I don't see.
You see what I mean? You know, you cannot even whatever opinion you say you're not. Sorry. No, but
Now we stop.